Yirara.
Picking pairs, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all that fit inside the ones place value line. So I picked another pair and made a group of 10 that fit into a bag perfectly even. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I had to keep picking pairs of hunger I had to feed. So I picked another 10, and that led to one group of 100. The pair bumped me on the head, and I said, 10 ones make 10. 10 groups of 10 are 100. 10 hundreds make 1,000. The pattern never ends.
Good afternoon and welcome to Friday's last of the week's session for maths with
Mr. Keegan
and Miss Pam, Year 7-8 Maths. And today we're going to look at and learn about place value and what makes a number really important and changes its value. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of time to explore how we build our numbers into these columns and then use that to make maths, understanding how important each number is. Okay, first of all, we're going to have a little look at a video that Mr. Keegan and a couple of friends made yesterday to help you to understand which column the numbers go in and how they change. Okay, so just take a look at this. It's really helpful.
Hello, today we are learning about place value with some of our friends and teachers, Mr. Keegan, Miss Miri, Mr. Max and Miss Tina. So have a look at what numbers we're actually holding up. So Ms. Tina is holding up number 1 and she's in the thousands column. I'm holding up the number 2 and I'm in the hundreds column. Miss Miri is holding up number 3, she's in the tens column, and Mr. Keegan is holding up number 4, he's in the ones column. So have a think about what number do we represent altogether. That's right, we're 1,234. Now what happens if we actually all shuffle around and go into different places? What number will we then be? Let's have a look. Okay, so we've shuffled around and we're now a completely different number, even though we're made up of the same numbers that we begin with. So now I'm in the ones column, I'm number 2. Miri is in the tens column, she's number 3. Tina is in the hundreds column, she's number 1. And Keegan is in the thousands column, he's number 4. What number do we make up now? Have a think, and then we'll see what you get. Yes, that's right. The number is 4,132. So we're going to shuffle one more time and we'll see if you can get the answer yourself. All right, so now we have a completely different number once again, but still using the same digits, still using the same numbers as they are. So have a look. Now I am in the thousands column, I'm number 2. Miri is in the hundreds column, she's number 3. Keegan is in the tens column, he's number 4. And Tina is in the ones column, she's number 1. What number do we make now? We are now the number 2,341. So that's how place value works. Have a think about it, maybe you can do the same where you are and have fun.
Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little video, and that just helps us to understand single units, tens, hundreds, then thousands. Now, your page in your booklet, in your work booklet that you'll be working on first, is Mr. Keegan and I are going to show you how to use that page to answer the questions at the bottom. So let's take a look down now at the page in the workbook, and Mr. Keegan's going to explain to you. First of all, number 1 is one single unit. Single unit numbers only run from 0 to number 9. This one's a number 10. It then becomes a 2-digit number after number 10. And then 100 becomes a 3-digit number and belongs up in this column. It has 2 zeros. So we're going from a single digit to double digits, then down to triple digits. So let's have a look at the first question. Use the blocks to help find the answer to the problems below. Now, if you don't have blocks, you can use gravel like Miss Pam did the other day. But if you look here, I'm sure you'll be able to work it out if you work with us. It's 100 divided by 10. Now, we have 100 here. Mr. Keegan's going to show you how they fit.
So we have one group of 10, 2 groups of 10, 3 groups of 10, 4 groups of 10, 5 groups of 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 groups of 10 equal 100 blocks.
So that means that 100 divided by 10, so that means how many 10s fit into 100, equals 10. Am I right, Mr. Keegan? So
10.
That's 10 times 10 is 100. So let's look at the one next to it. It says 100 times 10. That's even bigger.
So now we have 100 blocks and we're going to get 10 of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Should we count how many hundreds there are, Pam?
I think so, because I know that there's 10, but I don't know how many that equals altogether.
Ready?
So let's count them out.
100,
100,
200,
200,
300, 400,
400,
500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000.
1,000. It has 3 zeros now, so we put down 1,000 in that one. Very good. 100 times 10 equals 1,000. Now, 10 divided by 10. That's a little bit silly, isn't it, Mr. Keegan? What do we do with that? How do I divide 10 by 10?
It's already in one group of 10, so the answer must be 1.
1. That's right. Very good. There's only one 10 in the number 10. 10 divided by 1.
So we have
How many
10.
ones fit into 10?
There's
1,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 ones fit inside 10. There. Now we've done 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've given you a head start. We want you to have a look at the next slide now so we can explain a little bit more about how these blocks work. In the first column, you're going to see 3 big blue blocks. Now each of those blocks is 1,000. Can you see how many there are? 3,000 altogether. In the next section, there are 2 hundreds, 2 blocks of 100, and each of those is 10 times 10. In the tens column, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that totals 40 and belongs in the tens column. Single ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we write that in the singles column. Now, our next slide, we have some random numbers. Now, Mr. Keegan's going to pick a number for me, and I'm going to work out how to make it out of these blocks.
I pick number 470.
Okay, how do I make 470? 100, 200, 300, 400, and we've got 7 groups of 10, which are 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that it? Mr. Keegan, have I Have I got any more?
Do we have 400s?
400.
Yes. And do we have 7 tens?
Yes.
Perfect.
And no single numbers. Now, where would I put this on the board? 400 must belong in my 400s column here. 400s. And 7 tens and 0 ones. So altogether we have 470. Our 4 is very important because there's 100 of them. 4 times. Okay, pick another number. Shall we pick another number?
I pick 128.
Oh, that's an easy one. Let's take away 3 of those. Wait 10 minutes. Got 102 and we need 8.
1,
2,
2,
3,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
8. Okay, let's see where we put those. 100, 2 tens and 8 units makes 128. Now task number 2, let's get on to that quickly and we'll finish up with a little video again to remind you how this is all done. This is your task 2 in your work booklet. Keegan and I'll do the first one.
So we have A, so we have 100.
100.
We have 2 tens. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. An easy way to work this out is you can write down there's 100, so write a 1. There's 2 tens, write a 2. And there's 5 ones, so write a 5. So the answer must be 125.
Very good. Now I'm sure that you can finish the rest of that off yourself. Our next slide quickly just helps you to understand. Now we'll just hold that slide there for a moment just so that when you get stuck at home working through your workbook, just refer back to these columns and have a little look at ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Now the little video that we're going to end with will just explain how that continues on. So pay attention to the little video. I'd like to say thank you very much for tuning in to today's lesson. That was quick, wasn't it? Nice easy one today. Good way to end the week. Okay, have a great weekend and goodbye from Miss Pam and
Mr. Keegan.
And we'll be working more on number values next week. Bye.
Rang at 8 o'clock. I started playing with my base 10 blocks. I stacked up 9 and then one more made 10. And then 10 tens equaled 100. 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. Another 100 wouldn't fit in the 100 space. I had to write one group in the thousands place. Then I played the air bass. 10 ones make 10. 10 groups of 10 are 100. 10 hundreds make 1,000. The pattern never ends. 10 ones make 10. 10 groups of 10 are 100. 10 hundreds make 1,000. The pattern never ends. 10 groups of 1,000 equal 10,000. 10 thousands make 100,000. And 10 of those make 1 million. And the pattern has no end.
Hi, welcome back to Integrated Learning, the last lesson for the week. Week number 1. We're going to just have a bit of a recap of what you've talked about this week so far with Mr. Lico and
Mr. Max.
Mr. Max. We talked about
Directions, north, east, south, west, and different places in Australia.
Yeah, all the fun places to go to in the other parts of Australia that some of us have never seen before. Some of us have been lucky to travel all the way around. One day you might get to do that too. But first of all, we need to look at the vast distances between the towns and all of the different ways that we can get there, how long it might take. Okay, but we want to do all that without getting lost. So we have some words to go over at the end of the lesson, but for now we're going to have a little look at what you've done in the first couple of days with Mr. Lico and Mr. Max talking about directions with our map of Australia. Okay? Okay, first of all, looking towards the top of the map of Australia, you'll see north. And then over towards Brisbane on the Queensland side is to the east, and then down to South Australia, obviously to the south, and then over onto the west coast, right over to the beautiful beaches of Western Australia is directly west from Alice Springs. There are other directions kind of in between that make it a little bit more interesting though. If I wanted to go to Cairns, I would head in which direction do you think, Mr. Max? You got any ideas?
Well, if we have a look at the map that we've got here, this is Alice Springs, that's Cairns.
Oh,
That
if
looks...
we kept going, we would be going in the northeasterly direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if I was heading to Sydney, which direction would I be going to? Looks like all the way to the southeast, doesn't it? Am I right? All right, let's pick a spot on the map for a holiday. I'd like to go to Broome.
Broome. Well, which direction is that, Miss Pam?
All the way up to the northwest. Now, where's Perth?
Perth.
Where's Perth? That's a long way away from Alice Springs.
It is. Very long way. And it seems to be southwest.
Southwest. A lot colder in Perth than it is in Alice Springs in the winter, isn't it? Now, let's pick another spot. Ceduna, which is on the south coast, on the way to the Nullarbor. And it's almost directly south from Alice Springs, isn't it? Heading straight down to the Antarctic. And then if I was to go all the way up, where do I end up? In between Darwin and Nhulunbuy. So if I was to turn off a little, head to the northwest, I could make my way to Darwin. Okay, now we're going to have a little look at our first big task for the week. Let's head over to the table, Mr. Max, and have a look at our workbooks. Now, this is going to take a little bit of time to explain, so I want you to have a look at your last lesson you did with Mr. Lico, where you were to Google the distances between towns, flying and driving, okay? Now, most of them took a long time by car, but we're going to work out which one was the longest and which one was the shortest. Which distance, number one says, which distance is the longest to travel by car? So let's have a little look at the one that we've already completed, that Mr. Max showed you in his little video the other day. We have Alice Springs to Darwin, nearly 1,500 kilometres, 1,500 kilometres. That's a long way, but it's not the longest. Let's go to the next one, 878. No, that's not the longest. 1,184, that's not the longest. 2,483, that could be the longest one so far. 1,400, nope, that's about the same distance from Alice Springs to Darwin, isn't it? Papunya to Uluru, that's only 592.8 kilometres. Yes,
I think we're breaking regulations.
We're breaking the rule. We're too close. So that one there is the shortest distance to drive, I think. Let's check the other two to make sure. Darwin to Adelaide, 3,000. That's long, isn't it?
I think that would be the longest.
That is the longest. Which distance is the longest? That's what the question is asking us. That's the biggest one so far, isn't it? So let's write that down. From Darwin to Adelaide. So you're going to copy that writing down from the previous page so that you don't make any spelling mistakes. 3,029.8 kilometres. Very good. Now we're going to help you with question number 4. How long does it take to travel from Melbourne to Sydney by plane? It takes Melbourne to Sydney 1 hour and 25 minutes. Oh, that's a nice easy question, isn't it? It takes 1 hour and 25 minutes to fly from
Melbourne to Sydney.
Sydney. Very good. Now, what I want you to do is concentrate on number 6. We're going to help you with number 6, and all the ones in between you're going to do. Why do you think some places have been coloured in black for travel by an aeroplane? Why would Mr. Lico do this? Cross that out. There's nothing there.
Can you fly from Hermannsburg to Borroloola or Papunya to Uluru?
Is there even an airport at Hermannsburg? It's a very small place, isn't it? There's no flights. It looks like there are no flights. We have to drive. Okay. Well, I think the answer to that question is there's no planes that go there. Okay? So take your time and write your thoughts on that one. Is it because there's no planes or no big planes? So that we don't go out there for a holiday, but we could drive from Alice Springs, couldn't we, Mr. Max?
Yes, we could.
Do you think we could catch a bus there? Probably catch a bus too. But there's no trains. You wouldn't get a train to Hermannsburg, would you?
No, definitely not.
No.
Unfortunately, we can't.
No, so we'd have to drive. All right, now, there's a couple of questions there that you need to put your own answers in, number 5 and number 7. But the ones before, number 2 and 3, we want you to have a little look at the research that you've already done and take that information and transfer it over to your blank spaces here. And be careful to read the questions properly and slowly. And if you get stuck, watch this video again. I'm going to go over number 2 for you. Which distance is the shortest to travel on by aeroplane? Which town to which town is how many kilometres? Okay? That's all you need to do is find the information here and transfer it over to here. All right, now we're going to have a little look at the spelling words that we've learned for the week. Our words that have stood out for all of us. Some you might not have really understood before. I remember early in the week we talked about fact. Does everyone remember what fact means? It means it's the truth. When you tell the truth, it means that it's real. And if it's false, what does that mean, Mr. Max?
That means it's not real.
Yeah, and you could be telling fibs, lies. There's lots of different words for not telling the truth. So it's fact, or sometimes we call it fiction. Fact or fiction. Fiction means make-believe, which is similar to the word false, isn't it?
Like when you read a story, a fiction story, that means a made-up story.
Yeah, so what we've learned this week is pretty much fact. I mean, I could tell you some silly things about Alice Springs. We could talk about beaches at Alice Springs, but do we have beaches at Alice Springs, Mr. Max?
No, definitely not. Maybe the clay pans is the closest it gets.
Yeah, we do have water holes and we do have some sand, but it's certainly not like the beaches over here. There's no surf. We couldn't ride a surfboard there, so that would be fiction or false, okay? Now, the words that we've learned, words of the week, let's have a little look through. Fact, false, opinion. Can we tell us a little bit more about opinion, Mr. Max?
So an opinion is something that I think about something. And we had an example early in the week when Mr. Lico said, Australia is lots of fun. And Mr. Lico said, it's an opinion, because some people might say yes, it's lots of fun, and other people think no, it's not really fun.
That's true too, because some people don't have a lot of fun. It doesn't matter where they live. And some of us have fun. It doesn't matter where we live. We'll just make our day fun. So opinions are all about your perception of something, okay? And not everybody agrees on the same thing. Now, the other thing that we learned was direction. So just to recap on that, let's have a quick look back at our map on the board. We're going to have a little talk about, just quickly again, north, south, east and west. On that side is west, and on this side it's east. So when you're looking up to the top of the compass, your right side will be east and that side will be west, okay? All right, that winds us up for this week, everybody, and thank you for joining in to Yirara 2U. Please play back the video if you have your workbooks in front of you and you need some help. And we'll see you again next week. Keep smiling. Have a great weekend.
Enjoy your weekends.
Bye.
Hello to all the Yirara students all over Australia and the NT and in the desert and in the Big Rivers country, up in the Gulf country and out in Western Desert, Arana country too, APY lands, all over. The story today happened when some people wanted Jesus to talk to them about how to be kind and how to be real caring for other people. Now, when Jesus was living, he was living in his country, and it was called Israel. But nearby there was another land, and they called the other land Samaria. And the people who came from there, they called them Samaritans. And the Samaritans and Jesus' own people, they didn't like each other. They were never getting on. They didn't talk to each other, just maybe to growl someone. They never shook hands. The Samaritan people and the people where Jesus lived, they didn't like each other. Not at all. So, Jesus told this story when they wanted to hear a story about how to be kind and how to be caring. Jesus said, okay, everybody, shh, settle down, listen up. One day, there was a fella. He was going from one place to another place, traveling. Maybe he had some parcels and packages. But while he's traveling along, down the track, through the bush, 3 robbers are coming, and they jump up and they hurt him. They wreck him, poor thing, and he falls down. He's nearly gonna die. And the robbers, they take all his things and they run away, and they leave him there half dead. He's gonna die for sure if no one is gonna come and help him. But then Jesus says, look, someone's coming down the track. He's gonna be all right. Who's coming? It's a priest from the big temple. He'll stop for sure. He's a priest. He'll stop and help this fella. But you know what? He walks right past this poor man. He doesn't even look at him. Just keeps walking. Doesn't stop. That poor fella's gonna be dead if no one helps him. Then Jesus says, but look, someone else is coming down the track. He's gonna stop for sure. Who's coming? Hey, it's another man who works in the temple. He's gonna stop for sure. What do you reckon? But nothing. He walks straight past too. He sees the man lying on the ground. He looks at him. Doesn't help him. Who's going to help him? Is someone else going to come? One more man is coming down the track. But hey, he's not from here. He's from Samaria. He's a Samaritan. We don't like the Samaritan people. They're like our enemy. We don't like to talk to them. We don't like to help them. But the man who's coming, that's where he's from. He's from Samaria. He's a Samaritan. What's going to happen? Jesus says, guess what? That Samaritan man, he stops. He gets off his donkey. He gets down on the ground next to that poor fella. He checks him out. He sees what he needs. He needs bandages. He needs medicine. And the Samaritan man, the enemy man, he's the one who looks after him. And he picks him up. He puts him on his donkey. He takes him to a place that night. He looks after him the whole night long. It was the man from Samaria who was kind. What you reckon? How come Jesus told this story? When people heard it, what did they think? They might have been upset. They might have said, Jesus, how come you told this story? We don't like Samaritans. But in your story, it's a Samaritan man who shows us how to be kind. We call that story the Good Samaritan story. And you might like to think about it, what it means for you. Amen.
Good morning. Welcome back to Yirara.
Hi and welcome to online learning for Year 9 in Term 1. My name is Miss Elizabeth and I teach in Year 9 and Year 10 classes. Thank you very much for showing up this week. You have made a strong choice for your education simply by tuning in every day, just like right now. We have been looking at some interesting patterns in numbers this week and trying to figure out how to use them in our tricky maths problems. So today we're going to look at a few patterns and write them in a few different ways. Let's get started. To the Yirara College website and click on Information. Then you can find our maths book, Year 9 Maths. You do need to click 2 times. And if the clinic or school will help out, they may print the book for you. Let's have a look at Year 9 Maths for today. Thank you for coming in. Turning up is an amazing start. So the outline for today: introduction and welcome, come in and stay, listen and watch. The lesson is finding patterns using jumps on the hundreds board. The do is writing patterns on the tables grid, and to ask questions at the end. Let's listen and watch. So today we are going to look at the hundreds board again, and we'll start to make jumps. Start at 2 and make jumps of 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Good work. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Very good work. Let's write these down. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Now let's carry on. 18, 20. Great. 16, 18, 20. Well done. Now let's start at 10 and make jumps of 10. So let's start at 10. There it is. And jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good work to 20. Well done to 30. Another 10 to 40. We can see the pattern already. And 10, 20, 30, 40 to 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to 90 and to 100. Well done. So each time we are making jumps of 10, and the numbers are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now we're going to start at 5 and make jumps of 5. 5 to 10, another 5 to 15, to 20, to 25, to 30, to 35, to 40, 45, and to 50. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. Good work. Now let's start at 3 and make jumps of 3. See if you can guess which number will come after the jumps. 15, 18, well done. And remember to go over the line and show that we've gone down to the next line. Great. 27 and 30. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27 and 30. Awesome. Here's a trick question. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Jumps of 1. Very good. Let's write these numbers. Very nice. And let's have a look at 4. So we'll start at 4 and make jumps of 4. 8, over the line, 12, 16, good work, 20, over the line, good, 24, 28, over the line, 32, 36, and 40. Well done. Let's write these. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36 and 40. Awesome. Great work. We're going to use this pattern to help us fill in the times table grid. And we've seen these with a little X sign. And we will call this jumps. So first off we will start at 2. Now what was the pattern for 2? The jump was 2, 4, 6, good work, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Awesome. Let's have a look at 10. What was the pattern for 10? Yes, 10, 20, good, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. What about for 5? You've got the pattern now. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. How about for 3? We need to be a bit careful. Have a look. 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27 and 30. Awesome. What about that tricky 1? Ah, yes, well done. That was easy. Very good. And the last one for today is 4. So watch carefully. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36 and 40. Well done. That is great work that you have done today. And we looked at the patterns, so let's read back those patterns. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Well done. Jumps of 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Good work. 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Good. Jumps of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27 and 30. And jumps of 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And lastly, jumps of 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36 and 40. Awesome work. And we've just used a number pattern to help us fill in our jumps. Now let's check on our progress for the day. Introduction and welcome. Come in and stay. Listen and watch the lesson. Well done. If there are any problems, ask someone. Or once we get our links all fixed up, then you'll be able to write a note in and we can follow again. Best thing to do, if possible, go back onto YouTube or Facebook later on and watch it over so that you get that pattern well in your head. Well done. Stay safe, stay strong, and see you next time.
Hello and welcome Year 9. It is so great to see you. We are thinking of you and we are praying for you while you're at home. Well done for logging on onto the lesson today. It's a really great choice for your learning. So first, we're going to recap what we've done this week. Okay, we have looked at our communities. Okay, we've looked at where they are on the map, what they look like, and what is special about them. And we've started to weave in some good describing words. Today, we're going to have a look at where else we've been and where our families are from. But for now, we are going to read a few sentences about our bush tucker and do a little bit of reading there. And then we're going to go to our workbook, page 9. So get it ready, workbook, page 9. Off you go. In front of us, all about bush tucker, and we've missed out some words in the passage, but we have the options down here of words we can use to fill in these spaces. So I'm hoping you can help me. Let's go through it together. Bush tucker can also be called something. So let's look at these words. Nuts, kangaroos, bees, caterpillars, fruits. They're all types of bush food or bush tucker, but that's not what you'd call it. You'd call it Australian, but you wouldn't call bush tucker can also be called Australians. So what does that leave us with? I'm sure you found it quicker than me. Bush food. So bush tucker can also be called bush food. Let's write that in. And we've already got our full stop there for us. I'm going to cross it off the list so that we can know that we've already used that word. Let's keep going. It is any Australian food that is used by Aboriginal. Let's look at our words again. Which do you think it might be? I think so too. Australians. It is any Australian food that is used by Aboriginal Australians. Let's cross it out because we've used it. There are a lot of different bush foods. I think that's meant to have an S. Bush foods. Food from animals can be Let's keep reading the sentence. It might help us fill it in. Food from animals can be something. Emus, wallabies, wild turkeys, possums, snakes, lizards, and anteaters. So they're looking for an animal word, aren't they? Which of these words gives us an animal word? Well, it's not nuts and it's not fruits. If we have a look at the type of animals they're talking about, it's not bees or caterpillars, is it? Yeah, I think so too. Kangaroos. Food from plants includes, foods from plants. Oh, cross out kangaroos. They're not plants. Let's keep reading the sentence and see what they want. Food from plants includes something like passion fruit, figs, and oranges. Well, I know what passion fruit, figs, and oranges are. They're all fruits. Okay, but the sentence hasn't even finished. Food from plants includes fruits like passion fruit, figs, and oranges, seeds, and what's our last plant word? It's not bees or caterpillars. Yeah, it's definitely nuts. Next sentence. Grubs and insects like witchetty grubs, cicadas, and something else can also be food. Which one of these is an insect? You know, I'd have to ask the science teacher. I'm not 100% sure. So can we keep reading? And if we can work out what this one is, we'll definitely know what this one is. Other foods are honey from honey ants and native. I know what makes honey. Yeah, you got it, bees. So this one must be caterpillars. There we go, I can cross that out. So let's read it together. Grubs and insects like witchetty grubs, cicadas and caterpillars can also be food. Other foods are honey from honey ants and native bees, and nectar from the flowers. Water is very important for survival in the dry deserts. It can be found in tree roots, tree hollows, and water holes. Thanks for going through this with me. It's really important that we keep practicing our reading even while we're not at school. So remember, if you have any books or magazines lying around, or even just reading articles on the internet, it's really helpful to keep reading. But for now, well done and thank you.
Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at page 9 in our booklets, which is about community. We have 3 questions that we'd like everyone to answer, and to make it easier, I've gone ahead and answered the questions myself. The first one is, where else have I been and what is it like? In the NT, I have travelled to the Mataranka thermal pools. The crystal clear waters are very inviting, and it reminds me of a place I used to swim with family out in Brisbane. The rocky pools and the green environment make me feel like I'm back home, and it also is my happy place. The next question that we've got is, where is my family from? We just want to know a bit about yourself, who your family are, who your mob are, and I guess possibly some of the languages that you guys speak. I've answered this question, and my family on my mum's side are from a very small town called Port Augusta, which is also known as PTA. I have a lot of family up and down the coast from PTA to Adelaide. I also have Adyamatna and Arabana blood that runs through me. However, on my dad's side, they are from the East Coast and are known as the Waka Waka people. They live up and down the east coast of Queensland, ranging from Brisbane down to Bundaberg. The last question that is on page 9 in our booklet on community is, where would I like to go and why? It doesn't have to be in the NT, it can be anywhere all over Australia. We just want to know some places that you would like to visit and the reasons why. I would love to visit my families on both sides in Queensland and Adelaide to learn more about my history and the culture that my family have. I want to pass this information on to the next generation so that we can keep our family ties and it can keep going on to make history. These places include Corn, which is in South Australia, and Bundaberg, where my dad's grandparents are from, which is in Queensland along the beach. We hope that everybody enjoyed today's activity, as it was really fun to find out some information about our staff. Can't wait to see what you guys write and where you would like to travel.
Hello to all the Yirara students all over Australia and the NT and in the desert and in the big rivers country, up in the Gulf country and out in Western Desert, Arana country too, APY lands, all over. The story today happened when some people wanted Jesus to talk to them about how to be kind and how to be real caring for other people. Now, when Jesus was living, he was living in his country, and it was called Israel. But nearby there was another land, and they called the other land Samaria. And the people who came from there, they called them Samaritans. And the Samaritans and Jesus' own people, they didn't like each other. They were never getting on. They didn't talk to each other, just maybe to growl someone. They never shook hands. The Samaritan people and the people where Jesus lived, they didn't like each other. Not at all. So, Jesus told this story when they wanted to hear a story about how to be kind and how to be caring. Jesus said, okay, everybody, shh, settle down, listen up. One day, there was a fella. He was going from one place to another place, traveling. Maybe he had some parcels and packages. But while he's traveling along, down the track, through the bush, 3 robbers are coming, and they jump up and they hurt him. They wreck him, poor thing, and he falls down. He's nearly gonna die. And the robbers, they take all his things and they run away, and they leave him there half dead. He's gonna die for sure if no one is gonna come and help him. But then Jesus says, look, someone's coming down the track. He's gonna be all right. Who's coming? It's a priest from the big temple. He'll stop for sure. He's a priest. He'll stop and help this fella. But you know what? He walks right past this poor man. He doesn't even look at him. Just keeps walking. Doesn't stop. That poor fella's gonna be dead if no one helps him. Then Jesus says, but look, someone else is coming down the track. He's gonna stop for sure. Who's coming? Hey, it's another man who works in the temple. He's gonna stop for sure. What do you reckon? But nothing. He walks straight past too. He sees the man lying on the ground. He looks at him. Doesn't help him. Who's going to help him? Is someone else going to come? One more man is coming down the track. But hey, he's not from here. He's from Samaria. He's a Samaritan. We don't like the Samaritan people. They're like our enemy. We don't like to talk to them. We don't like to help them. But the man who's coming, that's where he's from. He's from Samaria. He's a Samaritan. What's going to happen? Jesus says, guess what? That Samaritan man, he stops. He gets off his donkey. He gets down on the ground next to that poor fella. He checks him out. He sees what he needs. He needs bandages. He needs medicine. And the Samaritan man, the enemy man, he's the one who looks after him. And he picks him up. He puts him on his donkey. He takes him to a place that night. He looks after him the whole night long. It was the man from Samaria who was kind. What you reckon? How come Jesus told this story? When people heard it, what did they think? They might have been upset. They might have said, Jesus, how come you told this story? We don't like Samaritans. But in your story, it's a Samaritan man who shows us how to be kind. We call that story the Good Samaritan story. And you might like to think about it, what it means for you. Amen.
Good morning. Welcome back to Yirara.
Welcome, 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 all you wonderful people. As you can see, I'm on numeracy again today. And high five if you are watching. Excellent, well done. What are we doing today? What are we doing today? Odds and evens. That is our next slide. We are doing everything about odd and even numbers, everything about numbers, odd and even. Now, do we remember that? Let's tune in to a short video and call on Klontaf to tell us all about odd and even numbers.
Hi team, great win on the weekend, well done. We've got to take some momentum into the training week now. Yep. We've had our uniform washed. We've got to separate them. We've got to put them into odds and evens. Yep. You know how it's done. Can we get the job done together?
Yes, coach!
Let's go team!
Right, Dave, let's go!
Yep.
Where's the baskets? Oh, we need to get it. What do you think? Is Mr. Dave and I going to do a great job? Or are we going to mess up? Let's have a look at the next clip when we are actually doing what we're supposed to be doing. Put it into odds and even baskets. Let's have a look. Dave,
yep.
We've got our orders.
Yep.
Odds and even.
All right.
Let's go.
All right.
What do we have? 10. Oof. It's kind of 1.
Yep.
It's kind of 1.
So
Definitely an odd.
Odd? All right.
Okay, you go.
You got 4.
4. Oh, that's an easy one. There's our 4. 2, 4, 6. That's right. That basket there. 4. Okay, let me have it then. Let me have it.
Okay.
Okay. What do we have?
8.
8. Well done. Okay, 8. Would that be? Okay.
Even?
Even? Yeah. Let's go. Even.
We got 12.
Ooh, yeah, 12. It's got an odd in it. It's got a 1 in it.
One's
I
odd?
say odd. 1 is odd.
All right.
1 is odd.
We got
We've got a 3. We've got a 6. 36.
both even?
Both even now.
3 and 6.
No, it's a 3.
3, that's
it's an
right.
odd.
You got it
It's
wrong.
an odd.
3's odd.
3 is odd.
All right.
Up 6. Very easy. 6.
6 even.
Even.
All right. Here we go. It's another
It's
one.
a 3. Well, that's easy too. That's an odd one.
It's
Let
odd.
me get a turn, Dave. Can't have all the fun.
I want to have all the fun.
No, you can't.
47.
It's got a 4 in.
Yep. That's an even one.
That's an even. Definitely an even.
Oh, you go again, miss.
Oh, thank you so much, Dave. Ooh, 49.
49.
49. Which one?
Nine is odd.
And the 4
is even.
So where are we going to put it? But I tell you what, we're just going to dump it there.
All right.
It's got a bit of both.
Yep.
It's got an even and an odd. We just dump it there.
All right.
Oh.
19.
19. Which one of those again? No. It's got 2 odds.
Yep.
Therefore it goes here.
All right, 2 odds in there. All right, what do you reckon, Coach, think about this one?
52. It's again one of those. It's got a 5 and a 2.
Yep.
I just dump it in the center.
All right, we'll ask him next.
No, okay. Oh no, 7 is easy. 7 is easy. Yep. Goes here.
All right.
And the last one.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Another easy one. Ita one.
Yeah.
Right, let's put it down.
In odd?
In odd. Okay. Dave, think we're ready to call coach.
Yep.
What do you think? Okay, let's go and get coach.
Sure.
I know.
All right, looks like the guys have sorted out the jumpers. We've got our odd basket, our even basket. Number 1, perfect, well done. Number 7, that's definitely an odd. Oh, these guys are great. Number 19, a 1 and a 9, both odd. That's great. Number 3, perfect. Number 10, nope. Number 10? In the odd basket? I mean, I know it starts with an odd number, but oh man, looks like we're back to the drawing board with these two. Where are they? Hey, give up!
Yeah, coach, we here. What's wrong? We did no joke.
Guys, how many times have we talked about it?
Yeah.
If you've got an odd number
Yeah.
that's double digits, it's the second number that makes it odd or even.
Really?
Not the first number.
Yep.
Look what I found. Guernsey number 10.
But it's got an odd number.
It's got an odd number at the start,
Odd.
but 0 is an even number.
Yep.
When you're working with double digits, you have to look at the second number to find out if it's odd or even.
Okay,
So 10
right.
must be even.
Even, right, coach. We'll go back to the drawing board.
Thank
okay.
you. Come
Thank
on, one
you.
more time. We can get
Okay.
this done.
All right.
Righto, let's go. $36, not the 3.
Or even.
So
Okay,
10
right.
must be even.
Even, right, coach. We'll go back to the drawing board.
Thank
okay.
you. Come on,
Thank
one
you.
more time. We can get
Okay.
this done.
All right.
Righto, let's go.
Right. 12.
12. Now, what did coach say? What? The second number, the last number, it's even.
Okay.
That way.
Sure.
Excellent.
All right, I got one.
Which
I got
one?
one.
Which one?
36.
36. Not the 3. It is the 6 we need to look at. So, 36, even.
Even, all right. All right, last one, then you can grab one, Miss. 47.
47. Well, 47. Last digit, odd.
Odd, yep.
Definitely odd. My turn.
All right.
Let's look.
What is it?
We have a
49.
49. Come on, Mr. Dave. Where?
9 is an odd number.
Excellent. Odd it is.
All right.
And, look, one more to go.
52.
52, Mr. Dave.
2 is the even number.
Excellent. Goes into, and Mr. Dave, you can have the last
All
one.
right, sure. This kit says 10.
10. Woohoo! Last number, 0.
0 is an even number.
Yahoo!
Yeah.
I think coach will be happy. High five. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Right, Yumab, I hope you enjoyed us royally messing up and then getting our lessons sorted out. Now, just to recap, to remember what Dan said, Mr. Dan said in Clontarf, how do we know even numbers? It always ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yes, those are our even numbers. When it ends in those numbers, those are even numbers. Let's look at the odd numbers. What does it happen? It ends in 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Those are our odd numbers, right? We are going to quickly, we have 3 minutes left, look at our worksheets, and then Mr. Dave and I are going to play a game. So let's have a look at our worksheets for the day. We are going to number sort. So we have our big numbers on top, and we need to say, are they even or odd? Remember to always look at your last digit. Remember what Mr. Dan said? Always the last digit will tell us if it is an odd number or an even number. Okay? So that is our worksheet for the day. Numbers more than 500 and numbers less than 500. Now, a quick game between Mr. Dan and I to see who's the winner of odds and evens. Let's have a look. Now, Mr. Dave, do you remember the rules?
Yep.
Okay, right. What are you going to be?
I'm going to be odd.
Odd. You odd?
Yep.
And I'm even. Right. Oops. Let's do that one. Even and odd. So, Mr. Dave, what do we remember?
All right.
Hand behind our back. And we need to draw our fingers. And we're going to add it up. Right. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Okay. Mr. Dave has 1. I have 3. 2. So together we make 3. Is that an odd or an even number, Mr. Dave?
It's odd.
Therefore you get a tick, Mr. Dave. You've got a point. Tick. Let's try again.
All right.
1, 2, 3. 9. Oh, Mr. Dave wins again. 4 plus 5 is 9.
Tick.
Tick. Last one, Mr. Dave. Last one.
Okay.
Last one.
Yep.
Ready and... Oh, Mr. Dave! You get a win.
Yes.
5 plus 2 is 7, and that is an odd number. Okay, people. We've come to the end of today. TTFN. Tata for now. Bye-bye. Welcome again, people. As you can see, yes, you've got me again. Unfortunately, Miss Andrea couldn't make it today. She's not in today, so I am stepping in doing integrated learning for today. It's going to be a chill afternoon. We're going to be looking at different jobs. So this whole week, we've been doing job-related things, employment-related things, being a good employer, being a bad employer, interviews. So we are going to have a look at 3 specific jobs out in community, out in the world. Night patrol, rangers, and nursing. Those 3 we're going to look at. So we're going to have a video on a ranger, a video on nursing, and a video on night patrol. And then we'll come back and have a look at our worksheets. Enjoy.
Looking after country has always been a special part of Aboriginal life, and this tradition carries on today in the form of land and sea rangers. And don't they love it?
Love being on a country, that's really good. It's a great opportunity, and also you're getting one back with your country, keeping your culture strong.
Any youngsters out there want to give it a shot if you're passionate about it? It's a good job.
So yeah, at the moment we're at Tree Point. Had a project out here to take out a Ponciana tree. We actually planted over 200 trees in this area. We're just actually mulching it at the moment. So we just come back, picking up what's left over, like spot spraying, all that kind of stuff with the Ponciana. Even just hand pulling mostly. It's really good.
We're getting older, and it's good to get the younger generations through, and the ones who, who have that caring for country attitude and get up and get out there.
Since time immemorial, Aboriginal women have had a critical role in looking after Mother Earth, and Selena Timothy wants to pass this knowledge on to the younger generations.
Land is connected to our body, really, and with Mother Earth and everything else, we tend to do the best we can in educating people and our children on caring for country and what it means to us.
And according to Keith Saylor, the training and the work experience you get as a ranger opens doors for opportunities in the mainstream.
Well, mainly my role was senior ranger for the on the wharf and that, working on the water. Yep. And that's with ConocoPhillips. And we were contracted by Sea Force. So we just do a lot of croc spotting, working with buoys and all that kind of stuff. Spotting crocs while the divers and that go underwater. I love being in the water. It's the best part of it.
However, in these hot and humid conditions, it's hard work. But then again, at least these rangers get to cool off at the end of a long day looking after country in the top end. Danny Tees Johnson in the Territory for NITV News.
I'm Tamala Smith. I'm a young, proud Aboriginal woman. I was born in Armidale. My family's from Burrabadee Mission, near Coona, Kamilaroi country. I'm in my third year of my Bachelor of Nursing at the University of New England. When I was in my last year of high school, I applied for early entry and I got in for nursing, and I didn't know that I wanted to do nursing until I did my first practical, and I just fell in love with it. So yeah, I love it. Did you have your medication? No. So I was just scrolling through Facebook and I found this ad for an Aboriginal nursing and midwifery cadetship, and I had recently just found out I got into nursing at the University of New England. So I applied for it and I got an interview and I got the position. So I've been working at Armidale Hospital for about 3 years.
It's meant to get tight, isn't it?
Yeah. Some of the challenges working as an Aboriginal cadet and studying at university was that it was hard to balance everything, but there was support at the hospital, at university and at home to help me through it. Yeah. That's okay. Some challenges and difficulties when working at the hospital is that I do see very sick people, very ill people, vulnerable people.
There's a new Aboriginal cadet starting at Tamworth.
As an Aboriginal cadet, I have a lot of support from my cadetship coordinator, clinical educator. Everyone's very approachable and I can ask them any questions. As an Aboriginal nurse looking after Aboriginal patients, I have that connection. I can make that connection as soon as I walk into the room. One of the main things that's really supported me through my degree is the financial support that I get from my Aboriginal cadetship while I'm at university. So I get a fortnightly allowance, plus 12 weeks paid work on top of that every year. So yeah, it's really good. After I graduate this year, I'll still be supported throughout my nursing journey. So next year I'll do a new grad program where I'll transition into practice and work as a registered nurse in a hospital. What I'm passionate about and what motivates me every day is making a difference, making an impact on people's lives. And so in the future, I want to work in remote communities with Aboriginal people to contribute to closing the gap to improve overall health for my people.
I hope you enjoyed those videos about the 3 different jobs that you can explore or study. Let's look at today's worksheet. On your worksheet, you'll find that it has the job on the one side and a definition on the other side. So you need to match the worksheet, the word, the journalist, to the definition on the other side. So have a good look, have a good read, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Good morning. Welcome back to Yirara.
Once again, so I'm filling in for them for the Year 11, 12 and 13 class today. We've been talking about smoking this week as our integrated learning unit, and today we're going to do a bit of a recap and we're going to play a Kahoot. Now I know that if you are all here you'd love to jump on. If you're live streaming this video either on YouTube or Facebook right now at 2:28 p.m. on Friday, then you can play along as well. But if you're watching and it's not Friday 2:28 p.m, then you can't play because we've already played and you've missed out. But it doesn't mean that you can't watch and guess the answers as you go along. So on your screen should be the game pin. So if you haven't never played before, it's pretty easy. We go to a website, it's kahoot.it. And you should be able to see it on your screen, and there's a game pin there as well, which is 3192835. So if you go to that website, kahoot.it, it'll ask you to put in that number, the game pin, and it will ask you for a nickname. You can log in now and we'll see who logs in. We'll give you a couple of minutes to sort that out. And in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you about the worksheet that was set for today. So I think we're having some technical problems with the Kahoot, but they will sort it out very soon. So we'll go to the worksheet, which is this one here. You can see this worksheet. So the instructions are for the football top. To design your own football top with a no smoking theme. Think about what message you want to get across about smoking and the reason why smoking is bad for you. So you've got the front of the top and the back of the top. I asked some of our teachers and LSOs to do this, and we've got a few examples for you. So the first example is from Mr. Max, and I love the colours of this one. We've got Stop Smoking, Cancer Kills on the front, And on the back of the jersey is obviously the football player's number, and then don't smoke with the no smoking sign. So that's a really, really great design there from Mr. Max. We have one from Mr. Daniel, which is super colourful and great colours too. I think they're the West Coast Eagles colours, aren't they? Blue and yellow. We've got the quit line, Northern Territory, and he's even put the quit line number on there, which is 137848. So he's got that. Obviously it's called the Kangaroos, and on the back he's got a no smoking sign, and I think this is supposed to be a no drinking sign. So no smoking, no drinking. Really, really good one there from Mr. Daniel. Now our last one for today is from Miss Miri, and don't tell the others, but I think this one's my favourite. We've got a beautiful pattern on the back that I really, really like, and we've got the cigarette with smoking kills coming out of it. I think I'm a bit biased with this one because green is my favourite colour, which is why I like this one the best. So there's a few examples, and I'm sure you can take some ideas from these examples if you like, or you can come up with your own. So on page 12 of your workbook, there's the blank ones for you to fill in. Okay, how are we going with this Kahoot? We've got 3 people logged in for the Kahoot. We've got Snowflake, 10pin and Tina. Great. All right. If you're just joining in now, you're going to go to kahoot.it, and the game pin, it's a different game pin. It's 7099449. So kahoot.it, and then that game pin number, and you can join in. Even if we start the Kahoot, you can still join in later on. You just won't get as many points. All right, so we've got 3 players today, and is there 10 questions? I think there's 10 questions. So, first question, let's go. I can't read the question from here. I'm going to move my angle. There we go. First question is, when were cigarettes, or when was smoking first introduced to Indigenous Australians? So we've got 4 different centuries there. Was it first introduced in the 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, or the 2000s? So if you're playing along at home, you're going to select by pressing the corresponding colour, and the correct answer is the 1700s. So people from north of Australia, fishermen, had tobacco, and they introduced it to the Indigenous people right at the top of Australia. So that's when it actually first came in, before white settlement. So it's been around for a long time. But obviously it's changed and it's a bit different. Anyway, only one person got that right. Well done to you. All right, let's go on to the next question. Question 2. Can't read the question because the screen's in the way. Technical difficulties. Smoking kills Aboriginal people more than any other drugs and alcohol combined. Is that true or is that false? So you can press the red button for true or the blue button for false. And we're still waiting for a few people to answer. Oh, thank you, Mr. Tyson. He's moved the camera out of my way so I can see the screen. Thank you. All right, so the correct answer is true. Smoking does kill more Indigenous people than drugs and alcohol combined. So we've got 10pin in first place, followed by Snowflake, Tina, and we have a 4th competitor joining us, which is awesome. All right, next question is, how many chemicals are in a cigarette? Is it 4,000? Is it 900? Is it 250? Or is it 1,280? Either way, all of those numbers are really, really big. So how many chemicals are in a cigarette? Select your answer. All right, the correct answer was 4,000. There are 4,000 chemicals in one cigarette. That's a lot. So 10pin was the only one to get that correct. So that person has hit the lead and the others have got a lot of catching up to do. All right, next question. What are the 3 chemicals in a cigarette? Or what are 3 chemicals in a cigarette? Obviously there's 4,000, but what are 3 of them? We've got nicotine, tar and carbon dioxide, nicotine, tetrahydrocannabinoid, carbon monoxide, nicotine, tar, carbon monoxide, or tar, benzomethylglycine, and oil. Which one of those is correct? All right, Get everyone to put their answer in. Still waiting for one person to put their selection. And the correct answer is nicotine, tar and carbon monoxide. So 2 people got that right. And 10 Pin is still in the lead. And congratulations to Sunshine. You are now on the board. You have some points. All right, next question. Question 5, we're halfway. Breathing in secondhand smoke can have the same effect as actually smoking. True or false? Let's see how quick you can get your answers in. One more person to enter their response. True or false? Breathing in secondhand smoking can have the same effect as smoking. It is true, and everyone got that correct. Well done. You must have been paying attention to Mr. Paul's videos earlier this week. All right, 10 Pin is still way out in front. I don't think anyone's going to catch him, but we'll see what happens because there's still half the quiz to go. So question 6. What chemicals do cigarettes release in your brain when you smoke? Is it testosterone, estrogen, adrenaline, or endorphins? Which chemical is released in your brain when you smoke a cigarette? And it is endorphins. Okay. Oh, Sunshine has just moved past Miss Tina into 3rd place. Okay, question 7. What drug in cigarettes speeds up the activities of the nervous system and the heart? Which drug in cigarettes speeds up the activities of the nervous system and the heart? Tar, carbon monoxide, nicotine, or hydrogen cyanide? Thinking. What's the correct answer? It is, of course, nicotine. And if you have been watching Mr. Paul's videos, he definitely has been talking about that. So Snowflake is actually gaining some ground on 10 Pin. All right, question 8. What are 3 major effects of smoking? We've got infertility, cancer, cardiovascular, that's a long word, isn't it? Cardiovascular disease, got it. Cancer, cardiovascular disease, or appendicitis. Cancer, appendicitis, and Parkinson's disease, or appendicitis, cardiovascular disease, and dementia. What are the 3 major effects of smoking? Okay, we've got one more person to put their answer in. And the correct answer was infertility, cancer, and cardiovascular disease. Oh, it's getting closer up the top. All right, well, there's 2 more questions left. Question 9. How much does smoking increase the chances of you getting cardiovascular disease? Are you 50 times more likely, 20 times more likely, 5 times more likely, or 10 times more likely of getting cardiovascular disease if you smoke? The correct answer is 20 times more likely. Let's have a look at the leaderboard. Oh dear. Well done to Tina, who got that, was the only one to get that correct. This is the last question. How many Australians die each year from smoking-related illnesses? This is a bit of a sad question to finish on, isn't it? But is it approximately 15,000, 9,000, 11,000, or 25,000? Either way, that's a lot of people to die from cigarette smoking. Okay, the correct answer is 15,000. So let's look at our final leaderboard. And the podium, who's on top of the podium with... Oh, 3rd place is Sunshine. 2nd place is Snowflake. And 1st place is 10 Pin. So just if you wanted to know, 10 Pin... Oh, you'll give him a clap. 10 Pin was Mr. Dave. So if you see Mr. Dave, he knows a lot about smoking. He's been paying attention to Mr. Paul's classes. Well done. Okay, that's it for our integrated learning lesson today. We'll move on to, we're still going to be talking about smoking next week, but a few different areas of that topic. And we're moving on to maths now. And hi, I'm your maths teacher as well for today. So we've been looking at data. We'll just wait for our tech people to pull the Kahoot down and put the PowerPoint up. So just wait for them to get themselves ready, but we have been talking about data. And data is really, it's another word for information. So data, information, almost the same thing. Now the workbook that you have, I'm just going to get it. The workbook that you have is actually going to go towards credit points for your NTCET. So numeracy and integrated learning, even though we're not doing it face-to-face at the moment, if you complete this book and bring it back, it does still count towards points towards your NTCET. So make sure that you're doing the work. Okay, so data is information. And it can include facts, opinions, numbers, or measurement. So we're going to have a look at some data about Anthony McDonald Tippenwoody. And I've got 4 people who've given me some information about him, and we need to work out whether it is a fact, an opinion, is it something to do with number or something to do with measurement. So let's hear from, I think, who's up first? Going to give us some information. Mr. Keegan's going to give us some information about Anthony McDonald Tippenwoody. Let's check it out.
Go. Wow, Anthony McDonald Tippenwoody is the best player in the AFL.
Great. So he said Anthony McDonald Tippenwoody is the best player in the AFL. All right, is that fact, opinion, a number, or a measurement? It's an opinion. I agree with that opinion. I think he's awesome. But it is just an opinion. Other people have different opinions. All right, let's listen to Miss Pat.
Anthony is 171 centimetres tall.
Anthony McDonald Tippenwoody is 171 centimetres tall. That is probably a number, or actually it's a measurement, because we can measure how tall people are. So 171 centimetres is probably, it's probably a little bit taller than me. He's not a hugely tall football player, but that is a measurement, because you can measure how tall people are. So that's a piece of data that we measure. All right, Miss Rebecca's going to tell us something interesting about him.
Anthony McDonald Tippenwoody was drafted by Essendon in 2015.
What was that one? Fact, opinion, number, or measurement? It was a fact. He was drafted in 2015 by the best football club in Australia, the Essendon Football Club. All right, Mr. Ken, what have you got to say? Oh, Mr. Ken.
Anthony McDonald Tippenwoody has kicked 153 goals in the AFL.
Okay, Anthony McDonald Tippenwoody has kicked 153 goals in the AFL. That is a number, 153, and it's a big number. He's kicked a lot of goals because he is awesome. Okay, so in your workbook, that was the first part, what is data? So we're going to move on to why we use data. I use data a lot. I get your MacLit test results when you first come to Yirara, and I put you in the right reading groups. That's some data that I use. I use data to make timetables and rosters for the staff to make sure that there's someone always in your classroom. We use data all the time here at Yirara, and I went out and had a look and asked some other people at Yirara how they use data. So let's have a look at that video.
Good morning all. I use data to work out how many eggs to cook for our students each morning.
We use data to help find ways to support our students.
Pathways uses data to use on the internet to talk to external agencies and look for different opportunities for students so that they have different things to try towards their future.
Use data for funding for the school.
I use data to make sure everyone gets paid on time.
I use data to create content for Yirara TV as part of my job.
Lots of different ways at Yirara, and we're just one school. So imagine how much data other organisations use. So that's about it for this week. Next week, we're going to take a look at mean, median, and mode, which is still about data, and it's about interpreting data. So try and get up to page 14, finish that in the booklet for next week so you're ready to move on to the next part. Have a lovely, lovely weekend, and hopefully Mr. Paul and Miss Flo will be back next week and they will continue with your learning journey. See you next week.
Hello to all the Yirara students all over Australia and the NT and in the desert and in the Big Rivers country, up in the Gulf country and out in Western Desert, Arana country too, APY lands, all over. The story today happened when some people wanted Jesus to talk to them about how to be kind and how to be real caring for other people. Now, when Jesus was living, he was living in his country and it was called Israel. But nearby there was another land and they called the other land Samaria. And the people who came from there, they called them Samaritans. And the Samaritans and Jesus' own people, they didn't like each other. They were never getting on. They didn't talk to each other, just maybe to growl someone. They never shook hands. The Samaritan people and the people where Jesus lived, they didn't like each other. Not at all. So, Jesus told this story when they wanted to hear a story about how to be kind and how to be caring. Jesus said, okay, everybody, shh, settle down, listen up. One day, there was a fella. He was going from one place to another place, traveling. Maybe he had some parcels and packages. But while he's traveling along, down the track, through the bush, 3 robbers are coming and they jump up and they hurt him. They wreck him, poor thing, and he falls down. He's nearly gonna die. And the robbers, they take all his things and they run away and they leave him there half dead. He's gonna die for sure if no one is gonna come and help him. But then Jesus says, look, someone's coming down the track. He's gonna be right. Who's coming? It's a priest from the big temple. He'll stop for sure. He's a priest. He'll stop and help this fella. But you know what? He walks right past this poor man. He doesn't even look at him. Just keeps walking. Doesn't stop. That poor fella's gonna be dead if no one helps him. Then Jesus says, but look, someone else is coming down the track. He's gonna stop for sure. Who's coming? Hey, it's another man who works in the temple. He's gonna stop for sure. What do you reckon? But nothing. He walks straight past too. He sees the man lying on the ground. He looks at him, doesn't help him. Who's going to help him? Is someone else going to come? One more man is coming down the track. But hey, he's not from here. He's from Samaria. He's a Samaritan. We don't like the Samaritan people. They're like our enemy. We don't like to talk to them. We don't like to help them. But the man who's coming, that's where he's from. He's from Samaria. He's a Samaritan. What's going to happen? Jesus says, guess what? That Samaritan man, he stops. He gets off his donkey. He gets down on the ground next to that poor fella. He checks him out. He sees what he needs. He needs bandages. He needs medicine. And the Samaritan man, the enemy man, he's the one who looks after him. And he picks him up. He puts him on his donkey. He takes him to a place that night. He looks after him the whole night long. It was the man from Samaria who was kind. What you reckon? How come Jesus told this story? When people heard it, what did they think? They might have been upset. They might have said, Jesus, how come you told this story? We don't like Samaritans. But in your story, it's a Samaritan man who shows us how to be kind. We call that story the Good Samaritan story. And you might like to think about it, what it means for you. Amen.
Good morning. Welcome back to Yirara.